oh boy, season finale. Did you know it was supposed to be a serious finale and it changed last minute?
Oh, is that what that secret ending is about?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think so. Uh, I actually I didn't know. There's a lot of things I didn't know last week that I found out between last podcast and today. Um, One, I didn't know that this was supposed to be like a solo series. I didn't know that it was supposed to be just like a one season thing, and it's just like, bam, you're done. Uh, and along with that, I didn't know this was actually like its own thing.
Like no
Meaning,
MCU type thing?
yeah, apparently it's
Hmm.
not supposed to be connected to the current MCU. According to one of the producers, um, let me actually look it up real quick because I should have saved his name, but um, let's see, Moon Knight, not part of the
That
current
is interesting. That
MCU.
explains the abrupt ending, at least the secret ending.
Mm-hmm.
But
Uh,
that doesn't. Okay. Does that mean that they were already expecting Jake? How many guys in?
yes. So I feel like Jake was kind of hinted throughout the entire series.
Right.
And it's always just like little hints here and there. And then it wasn't until this episode that we actually got to see an acknowledgement to it, not just in the post credit scene, but in the show as well. Um, okay, so here's what they say, and so maybe I am wrong. So executive producer Grant Curtis told Inverse that Moon Knight is a show within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though it takes place in England and Egypt, far away from New York City. Moon Knight is very much in the MCU. Okay, so I will reverse my statement. It seems like it is in the MCU. I saw a video on Reddit not that long ago that said it has no attachment to the current MCU, and I keep emphasizing the word current because my assumption is that they wanted to introduce this new character without any connections to the rest of the MCU, which is what we've been getting this whole time. Everything's connected,
Right.
and they wanted to see how the show did as a standalone, with the intent of maybe going into further MCU connections, uh, which I believe does have to do with a little bit of the ending of this episode. Um,
Does it
yeah,
mean did they? So that means let's say they weren't gonna go season 2, right?
mhm.
And then that Jake reveal wasn't there. Like the only reveal we get was his sarcophagus, and then him fighting, uh, taking care of business with Harrow, and that's it. That would have been
I
it.
mean, it could be. Uh, I feel like if that was the case, if they left it as a one season, one time show, I feel like it would have fallen a little bit flat because
Yeah.
it's another typical story, right? Like a guy gets superpowers, and there's your opposite part of the enemy is trying to destroy the world in a certain way, and then they stop him. So you save the universe or the world, I guess. And yeah, even though like some things change here and there, it is a very typical Marvel recipe for superhero shows. And I'm not complaining. I feel like it's fine. I enjoyed that it was different than than the other superheroes, right? Like, um, you don't have like a full on disaster going on for this guy to acquire his superpowers. Um,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, because he did get shot and he was about to die, so I guess that is kind of disastrous.
Twice too.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did get shot twice. Uh, but I don't know. I just thought it was different enough that I enjoyed a new take on this superhero.
Yeah.
But what's your take on this show?
Um,
The finale and the story and all of that.
I think it's unique in a sense where it introduces mythology of Egyptians and stuff like that. I don't know if we had any of that in the other stuff because we were always stuck with like Greek mythology, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this one was new. Uh, did I like the ending? Uh, it was okay. I felt like it was really quick. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was, uh, especially the scene when he wakes up and then they realize, hey, Steven, are you there? And then he falls off and he's tied to the bed, just like normal.
Yeah.
And then literally that's the end of the show. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? What happened to Towerette and the Avatar and
Yeah.
all this stuff? I was like, okay, they're definitely trying to set up for something else. It was just very abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was the ending, the fight scene was just like in WandaVision, where you have the two bosses, the two bad guys fighting, or the main guy, the protagonist, and then the bad guy fighting, and then you have the CG battle. Felt like similar to WandaVision in that sense. So,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of the new superhero?
Towerette.
Yeah,
It was a cool
the Tower Red
design.
Avatar.
It was got some Falcon vibes from that. A lot of Falcon vibes.
A
Especially the
little
part
bit.
when she had the shield
Yeah.
and she used it. I think my
So
favorite my favorite part was there's a shot where she gets her hand, stuck on the car, right?
yeah, I know what you're gonna say. I
There's
know
a
what you're gonna
guy
say.
just shooting at her wing at point blank range. And he's like, I'm not gonna shoot the head or the legs. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
shoot the shield.
It definitely felt a little OP, or rather, the bad guys had a big handicap. Um, and it had to me it had a slight ex machina effect on it.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very light, because like it is set up. It's not like she just came out of nowhere. Like it was a setup, right? We knew she was gonna come in. Um, but it was a very typical like, oh no, superhero, like he's about to get killed or something, and then she just comes out of nowhere.
yeah.
Um, which it works, and I'm not saying it didn't work in this episode. It's just it was a little too expected in a I don't
Predictable.
I don't even know
Yeah.
how to say it. It was just it didn't quite do it for me. It was like, oh well, how convenient that she just happens to arrive at that one moment when we knew she was gonna come in anyway. Like it would have been nice to raise the stakes some other way. I don't know, maybe have her show up before or maybe a little bit later, like a little too late. But I don't know. That's an opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
Um,
agree. It was very safe. I'd say it's a very safe way
yeah.
to have that fight.
So a couple of things to add on to that part to the end of the show as well. So when she gets her superpowers, um, the CGI felt a little too CGI.
Yeah,
When she
I
when
would
she
agree.
when she pulls out her wings,
Oh,
I
like the
was
first time.
like, yeah, the first time, yeah, the first
I
time
got
she's like,
chills.
you got chills.
I don't know why. I don't know why I got chills, but I got chills.
It's a cool superhero. I really liked it. I just felt that when she pulled out the wings the first time, they didn't look uh too real. Like it you could tell that it was CGI a little more than I would expect an MCU show to
Okay.
be like. I don't want to say that I'm surprised or anything like that. I just didn't know what to expect because Towerette is speaking to her and she's like, "Hey, do you want to be my avatar? Like we need an avatar to, take down Amit." And she's like, "Yes, but temporarily." But Towerette is a hippopotamus.
Yep.
And so it was just kind of interesting how she gets wings.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna look that up, and I did,
so
and I didn't see
okay,
anything
so you
about
have an answer.
wings. I didn't see anything about wings.
So I think the reason why she's got wings is because she is her superpower costume, whatever, is based on the scarab. Because if
Ah,
if
okay.
you remember when she picks up the scarab from the body, and it
Yeah.
like flies and it has the wings.
Yeah.
Those are
Yep.
the same
Yep.
wings.
That's
But it's
true.
just interesting because I didn't know that that was like Towerette's armor for the Avatar.
Yeah,
But it was
I
cool.
know. I mean, the only thing I found about Tower Red is the whole idea of her goddessness was for fertility. That's really what her original actual role as a goddess was fertility.
Oh,
But then I guess in the MCU they made her like ruler of the underworld or something like that, or of
something like
Duat.
that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, like a navigator or something like that,
yeah.
because she's the one that's controlling, like taking them on the boat and stuff.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I like the show. I really did. Again, I can nitpick at a lot of little things, but I can do that about any show. I feel like we all have our things that we're like, could have been
Acceptable.
better, but
Yeah.
it's fine. So my curiosity as far as this show goes is what they're gonna do with this superhero. We have all these branches coming out right now. Um, WandaVision, and
Yeah.
that seems to connect straight into Doctor Strange that comes out tomorrow. Um, yeah, I know.
I
Yeah, it comes
didn't
out tomorrow.
totally forgot.
For you guys watching us and listening to us, it came out a couple of days ago. Um, we have shows like Hawkeye, um, Loki. What else is out there right now? Falcon and the Winter
Falcon
Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
So we have all of these different stories coming out, and I'm sure they'll connect at some point. But the thing is, like, these are all heroes that came out of the movies, right? The actual
Yeah.
MCU. And so we have this new superhero coming out of England and Egypt. And what is it that Khonshu tells Mark? He's like, "Will you be the leader of the Sons of the Night?" or something like
Protect
that.
protectors of the walkers of the night, essentially.
Yeah. And I think I had that confused because I was thinking that's what the that group is with like Ghost Rider and um like Blade and all of those heroes. I thought that was it. I thought those were the Sons of Midnight, I think. I feel like I should my memory sucks these days. Uh yeah, it's called the Sons of Midnight. Um it has Hellstrom, Jennifer Kale, and Morbius, Werewolf by Night, Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider. And I guess Moon Knight is there at some point too. Midnight Suns. Um, so is this what's gonna happen? Are we gonna get like a whole new group of superheroes like the Defenders? You know, when we had the TV shows with Netflix. Um, and will they encounter the current MCU people? So we'll have another connection, kind of like when the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy meet to defeat a bigger enemy. And
Maybe.
so
Or they're gonna pit
I
them against each other, like another
if
civil war.
yeah, I know, and that's the cool thing is like they can do so many things with this, and it kind of like gets me a little bit excited for it because you know how in a sense we're getting a little marveled out, like too much Marvel, and it's just kind of like losing that a little bit. I feel like if they start teasing things like this here and there, I feel like it'll bring that pump right back up, and I'm here for it. I mean, I'm a nerd, hence nerd cassette. What do you want to
I th-
see out of this show?
oh man, I think maybe I would like to see it not connected to MCU.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
wanna
I
you want it to be its own
think
thing?
I wonder if like he's gonna take so we all have these TV show heroes now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe excluding some of them that are already in the MCU, but they create their own sort of cinematic universe, and then we have a movie based on them. I think that'd
Mm-hmm.
be cool. Because I think once you start acknowledging that there's other superheroes out there, then you're like, where were they when this happened? When did that happen? You know, what happened to that? Didn't they notice New York was getting blown up? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Uh yeah, it is something that I question as well, especially when we see things like Khonshu and Moon Knight, rearranging the night sky. And it's like, okay, so this is visible to everyone. Is it visible just in the night sky? So does that mean people in America didn't see it?
Oh,
Uh,
that is a good point.
so it's like,
That is a good point.
and at the same time, like, so we have the blip, the snap and the blip,
Yeah.
or I guess it's just called the blip in the universe. Um, and then what's the other two things that happen that are like major things? So one, the rupture of reality in Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, is that only visible in New York or is it like a worldwide thing? So who saw that
What are you
besides
talking
New
about
Yorkers?
in during No Way Home?
Yeah, at the end of it. Because
Oh,
the whole
when the whole
the
thing was
whole
purple, right? Yeah.
yeah, the whole sky is like
Yeah.
ripping and like people are coming in. And yeah, I get it that these are all related to Peter Parker or Spider-Man, but uh I mean, the sky is a big place, and if it looks that big, I'm assuming that you can see it from far distances too. But again, is it just New York, or is it everywhere in the world? And if it is still just New York, I mean, how many superheroes are in New York, and how come none of them came to aid, right? So even within the Spider-Man movies, it's a little weird. And then there's the Eternals. Like you watched that movie, right?
No, did not, and I don't
It's
plan
all right.
to.
It's okay. But that's the thing is like there's this like world destruction event going on where like one of the Celestials is given or the Earth is given birth to one of the Celestials, and you see the hand coming out, and there's supposed to be this massive entities that destroy worlds. And yeah, granted, they make it take place in a secluded area, like like some islands off of who knows where. But I feel like I don't know.
I feel like,
Someone would have noticed.
yeah, that's why I want it to be like a separate thing. I just feel like um they can't top Civil War and the whole Endgame thing, you know?
Hmm.
At least when they start something new, they can like top that, peak that, its own thing. But I don't know if it's just Endgame was just too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was too good that I don't
I
know how they're gonna top that sort of event because of how crazy it was. Like how everyone was in on it. Everyone was like excited for Endgame and going to theaters, and it was just like it was like a worldwide um participation. You know,
hmm
I don't know if it can be replicated.
see. You know what the issue is with the current MCU
Hmm.
is that these villains that are coming about, they're coming about the destruction of the world instead of just being a more grounded battle. Um, and m- maybe I'm generalizing too much because not everybody, not all of them are the same. Um, but like when you have like, I guess I'm looking more at the Eternals. Eternals are dealing with the end of the world again. And so when it's such a big event that damages the whole world, everyone should be involved.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that everybody would be there to fight against the destruction of the world. Having the smaller scale battles and villains, I think that's what keeps it a little bit grounded, and it makes it a little bit more believable for superheroes to be on solo missions. Um, so, for example, like with Hawkeye, their villains are minimal. It's like gangs in New York, and you're dealing with them, so it's not an Avengers level threat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what's the other show? Loki takes place at all times and no time at all, so that makes sense that it's taken place in its own thing. Um, I believe with like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, um, I feel like it was big enough that more people could have been involved because it's the representation of Captain America. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I understand it is a smaller scale villain, and it's actually more of like an anti-hero at this point. And same thing with WandaVision. WandaVision takes place in a bubble, so I get it why not a lot of people would know about it. Um, and so I feel like that if they keep it like that, I think they'll be okay. But if they start bringing like all these like worldwide events, sorry, um, that's where it kind of loses the credibility a little bit. So for me, even though that scene of them moving the stars was like super awesome to see, it lost a little bit of credibility in me because I'm like, well, I feel like other superheroes would see this and or hear it or whatever. Like, are they just gonna be like, oh, how about that? That's cool. Whatever.
I could
So
wonder. I still don't know if how that whole night thing was he changing it just for them, or was it for everyone else? Actually, it was everyone else, right?
yeah, everybody saw it.
Okay.
So he wasn't traveling in time. I think it was more of a vision thing, right? But
Yeah.
he controlled the sky visible to everyone, not just to them.
That's such a crazy day for the Egyptians there. First seeing the sky move and then seeing these two giant gods duking it out in front of the pyramids.
Yeah,
And then watching everybody's souls leave their body.
but I know. And are those people? Did they return their souls to their bodies, or are they dead now?
I think
'Cause
they're dead.
that was a lot of people.
Because that's what the legend is that the scales would uh would determine if you're a good soul or not. And if you weren't, then Ahmed would consume you. That's why it was all the things were going into their mouth. It was
Yeah,
consuming their souls. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, they're dead.
they're gone. Dang, that sucks for them.
I know.
Uh, should we talk a little bit about the end credit scene?
Yes. Yeah.
So
What'd you think of it?
we finally got Jake Lockley.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he was introduced at the end and not in the middle of the episode. I like that
Why
he
is
was
that?
just, I feel like even with all the hints that we got throughout the show, I feel like if they had actually introduced them in the middle of the show, it would have been a little too quick, too fast. Um, I don't know, I feel like it would have felt a little out of place. So I actually really enjoyed that Mark blacked out and then he wakes up and everybody's like dead and he's about to kill uh Harrow and even what's her face? Um what's her
Towerette?
name?
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I
just know
guess
where's
Towerette.
Towerette's avatar.
She's just like, what the heck was that?
I know, right?
And because that's what confirms it, you know. And he's like, I wasn't me. Like I blacked out. That wasn't you, right, Steven? He's like, no. And so I thought that that was a cool way of saying like, yeah, he's here, but you don't get to quite see him yet. Uh,
I
side
was kind of
note,
bummed that we didn't see it.
a
Yeah,
little
what he
bit,
did,
but
you know?
I'm hoping that we'll see it in season 2.
Yeah.
Uh, I would like to add a little note here. So you know how you said that there's that one scene where um, Towerette is, you know, covering with her wing, and there's this guy just shooting at her like point
Yeah.
blank,
Yeah.
and she's like stuck to the bottom of the car. After everyone is dead, she just goes dunk,
Ching.
and then she's free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't you do that forever ago? Like, you did that so easily. And so, and that was also a bit of a okay.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah,
Gone.
yeah, I guess. Yeah. But then the end credit scene, I knew that it was him just based off the hat, because if you've looked at any pictures or anything like that, you know that Jake Lockley is a taxi driver who I believe is a boxer as well, and then he has his little cap that he wears, and you see him wearing that,
Did he
and
kill everyone in there?
yeah, I think so.
He just casually killed people and then took
Yeah,
Harrow out?
he's like the tough one. He's like the one that doesn't care.
Dang, I
Um,
thought it was going to be Mark that does that, but now we have. I think Mark would have done because he was a mercenary. But then Steven sort of made him soft.
I feel
And
like
now we have Jake.
Mark. Yeah, I feel like Mark grew a bit of a conscience.
Yeah.
Conscience. But that ending was cool. I liked seeing Khonshu just sitting there and being like, he doesn't know how troubled he really is. Let me introduce you to Jake Lockley. And he just pops up with his gun and just shoots him point blank. Like, that's dark. And I liked it.
It takes 2 shots as well. You see that?
Yeah, I did.
Payback. I just have to, I do have to state, Hollywood needs to stop with this whole super silent silencers. Shooting a gun like that inside will still be loud.
Yeah.
And you're just like casually. That was
It's
it.
like that. It's like that scene in what's it called with Keanu Reeves, John Wick.
Oh, John
Wick 3 when he's at the
when they're
mall and
in the
they pull
train
out their
station or
guns
something. Yeah.
and they're like shitting each other and just like and like nobody hears the thing. I'm like, I think that's how it works.
My favorite part is when the sound effect they used for Mark or Jake's gun was like straight out of GoldenEye. It's like pew pew.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, I am super excited for season 2. I'm glad that there is a season 2 of it. And you know what? I want to know what do you guys think? Did you like the show? What would you have changed? Do you want it to be connected to the current MCU, or are you like Gabe and you want it to just be its own thing? Let us know in the comments. I'm really curious.
Yeah. While you're down there, hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when we release our shorts. I think it does, right?
I think
Notifies when we release short stuff. Yeah.
Our shorts have been kind of booming a little bit lately. Creating a little bit of spice. If you're curious about it, go check it out.
Join the conversation there.
For real though, we do enjoy the conversation. So everybody that comments, thank you so much, even if it's just in the shorts.